Welcome to the video on multiplying fractions. We're going to start out immediately with an example. 2/3 times, I'm showing it with the dot this time, 3/5. The rule for multiplying fractions is simply to multiply across the numerator and multiply across the denominator. And in the case of multiplication, we don't need to worry about having the denominators be the same. So 2 times 3 equals 6, and 3 times 5 equals 15. If we reduce 6/15ths, it is equal to 2/5. But right now, let's focus on multiplication. Let's do another example. 5/8 times 3/2, or 3/2. So we multiply straight across. So this is the same as, I'm just going to rewrite it this time, but we're doing the exact same thing. 5 times 3 divided by 8 times 2. This equals, 5 times 3 is 15, and 8 times 2 is 16. So now that we see how it works, let's discuss a little bit about what is going on. In this case, I'm going to do it with the example of 1/2 times 1/2. So 1/2 times 1/2. Well, according to our rules of multiplying fractions, this is equal to 1, because 1 times 1 is 1, over 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. So 1/4. Remember, a fraction actually indicates division. So 1/2 times 1/2 is really the same as 1/2 times 1 divided by 2, because 1/2 is the same as 1 divided by 2. And since there's only multiplication and division going on, we can kind of move these around. 1/2 times 1 is still 1/2. Because multiplying anything by 1, it stays the same. And then we're dividing by 2. Well, 1/2, let's draw a picture here. If I have a circle, and I have half of it right here, and then I divide that by 2. So I just have a half, and then I'm going to divide that by 2. So I divide the half that I have by 2, and that leaves me with just this portion. Well, notice this is the same as if we had 1 out of 4 original pieces. So 1/2 divided by 2 is the same as 1/2 times 1/2, which equals 1/4. This represents 1/4, because a half of a half is the same as a fourth. Let's do another one. This time 1/4 times 1/2. Well, according to the algorithm, this should equal 1 times 1 is 1, and 4 times 2 is 8. So we started out with a fourth. We're going to draw it in a square this time. That's supposed to be a square, and we're cutting it into fourths. So 4 equal pieces. So we have 1/4. This is the piece that we have. That's the chunk we have. And now we're going to multiply it by 1 and divide by 2. So we're actually, when multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing by 2. So I'm going to divide this by 2, and we will be left with this piece in the blue. Well, that is the same as if we had the whole thing divided into 8 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pieces. That's equal to 1 of the 8 pieces. So 1/4 times 1/2 equals 1/8. So you may have already caught on to this, but another important aspect of multiplying fractions is when you're multiplying a fraction and an integer. Let's say 3 times 3/4. 3 times 3/4. is the same as 3 divided by 1, because 3 divided by 1 is still 3. So we can treat this 3 as though it's a fraction and just multiply the numerators. 3 times 3 is 9, and 1 times 4 is 4. The same is true going the other direction. 2/3 times 5 is the same as 2/3 times 5 divided by 1. So all we have to do is take the 2 times 5, or in other words 2 times 5 equals 10, and 3 times 1 on the bottom in the denominator is 3. So 10/3.